A while back, I asked this question. If you're someone who doesn't create much, why is that? What keeps you from creating? A lot of people responded and they said that the reason why they don't create is because they have a messy workplace. They have too much clutter, too much art supplies, just too many craft things in general, and it's getting in the way of their creativity. In today's video, I'm talking about how to reclaim your creative space. How do you get back to creating so that you're not just collecting craft supplies? If this is something that interests you, then you're in the right place. So in one of my more recent videos called Create in 5 Minutes at a Time, I talked about the concept that yes, it is possible for you to be productive, to create in using 5 minutes or blocks of 5 minutes throughout your day. The whole concept is based on the idea that if you have a project in mind, if you have your papers or your materials ready to go, and if you have a place where you can set those things so that you can easily come back to, then yes, indeed, it is possible to be creative in as little as 5 minutes a day. The key to the success for that is organization. It's having a plan of what you're going to do and having a space organized so that you can be creative. So that's a perfect segue into today's topic, which is how do you get back your creative space? How do you return to having your environment work for you so that you are able to be creative and that your environment is not holding you back from being creative? So let's talk a little bit about motivation. Why is it now important to you to be able to get your creative space back? You've probably come to realize that your time is not limitless and you want to be productive. It's definitely hard to find what you're looking for when you have too much. And when you have more space, your supplies aren't taking over. Knowing what you have saves time and money, and keeping organized is easier when you have less. So why does craft clutter accumulate? For a lot of us, they have strong emotional attachment. They represent our hopes, our goals, right? For me, I know, for example, I've bought things and it's been something that I hoped would inspire me to create. I have this exact color ink. I wanted this one. Therefore, it's going to help me, or it's going to encourage me to create. Sometimes we get things because we might need it someday. Sometimes we hold on to things because it was expensive. I spent all this money on it and I better hold on to it. Another reason why things accumulate is because maybe they're a little bit broken, or it's possible that I can just fix it up. If I work on it a little bit, I'll just set it aside for now and come back to it another time. But here's the truth about how clutter impacts you. It's distracting and it decreases your focus on productivity. In a cluttered visual environment, all these things are competing for your attention and you're not able to focus on a project that you want to work on. It affects a person's ability to be productive, and there's really not a whole lot of room left to be creative. Lastly, clutter can affect you by making you stressed. How do you even approach cleaning up your creative space? It can make you feel anxious and overwhelmed, and that's exactly the opposite of what you should be feeling when you go into your creative space. When you go into your space, you want to be inspired and you want to be energized and focused, right? Okay, so things have accumulated. They have grown over time, right? Stuff that you've bought, of course, things that you've got with coupons and things that have been on sale. And now sometimes it feels like you are the curator of all of your things. You are collecting things in sets and series, and it's almost a hobby just to have the supplies themselves, right? So the whole purpose of this video is to get you to go through all of your things and to figure out what is going to help you be a creative person and to get rid of the things that are not. In addition to that, the purpose of this video is to help you set up a system that is going to work for you to help you stay organized. All the material in this video that I'm presenting to you, it's for the intention of really going through all of your stuff. That's my goal, is to help you do that. If you don't want to, of course, you can just listen and absorb and take stuff in and, not change anything. But what I'm providing for you now is the ability and hopefully the impetus to go through your things and to get rid of stuff that is taking away from your time, from your creativity. Move those things out so they're not holding you back. So the first thing is to have you think about what you want to create and why. So I created this little questionnaire, this little printout that you can have a look at. You don't need to print it, just read through the questions and think about the answers, right? So the purpose of these questions is to get you to think about your creative space and the kinds of arts and crafts that you like to do so that you can use your space more effectively. The second printout is called Room View. It just kind of helps you look at the room or your space in a more functional level. How is it being used? Where is the light source? That sort of thing. So for many of us, when we moved into our houses or homes, a lot is going on. You've got movers, you've got boxes, you've got furniture coming, you've got, all this activity. Stuff gets placed into an area or a room, and then it just stays in that spot. A lot of people don't or have not revisited, looking at their space and thinking, what, is that the best place for that desk? Maybe the desk should be closer to the light source because natural light is, one of the best ways we have to illuminate what art we're working on, right? So it's kind of important to rethink about everything, all the furniture, things in your room, your area, to make sure that they're in the right spot. Okay, now it's time to talk about the concept of organizing. Did you know that there is not a one-size-fits-all for organizing a space? We're going to talk about 4 different styles, and it's important to figure out which style works best for you. So I'll admit that I did not know that much about organizing and the best ways to organize a creative space. So I did some research. I started reading books and I took an online course by Cassandra Arson, who is the person who came up with this idea of Clutterbug. She is a clutter and organizing expert and came up with this system of being able to tell what kind of environment and system works best for different people. The link is in the description box below. You take this test and it will help you figure out what organizing style works best for you. She has names for each organizational type. There is a bee and a cricket and a butterfly and a ladybug. And these organizational types are divided into 2 main areas. If you are someone who likes to see an abundance of things in your space, or someone who needs to have a minimal amount of things in your space. The second area that she looks at is how you like to organize. Are you someone who organizes and has labels on every single thing? Or are you someone who just kind of has a very general bucket for something and you just chuck all those items into one spot, right? So it's visual abundance or simplicity and organizational abundance or simplicity. Those are the things that she will help you figure out through the questions that she's going to ask. Cassandra is awesome. She is so personable and she's funny, and you are going to love her videos if you haven't seen any. But she has so many and they're so good. I almost feel like handing you a string and you take the string and hold on to it while you go through the rabbit hole of all of her videos. Well, not all of them, but many of them. But I need you to come back. So for right now, I would like you to go take this test and figure out what organizational style you are, because once you know, once you understand what style, what type of person you are in regards to having your space around you organized, it makes a huge difference, right? You're going to understand why you have not been successful, perhaps, in being as organized as you would like, right? What's also interesting about this questionnaire is it helps you see if you are living with other people, it could be that their organizing styles are different than yours. And so in the case with myself and my spouse, that's definitely the case. And sometimes, you know, we have arguments or we don't agree about, you know, how we are keeping our space organized. So I will end this video here, and in the next video, we'll go and talk about the exact specific ways to go through and reclaim your creative space.